All right. Hello, everybody. Great to have you all here today. I want to welcome you to our quick start session about blogging. My name is Kathryn, and I'm in Montreal, Canada, and I've been a happiness engineer at Automatic since 2012. So just as a reminder, we're recording today's webinar, and so we will share that with you afterwards. There's a Q&A feature, question and answer feature in Zoom, so please feel free to use it to ask your questions. We won't probably be able to answer all of them, so if we don't get to your question, please feel free to reach out to us through support at wordpress.com/contact. We'll be happy to help you there. After this session, we'll be sending you out an email that will include a link to today's video, a little survey asking how you liked it, and a discount code as a thank you for joining us today. So look out for our email. We also have other webinars coming up every weekday. So if you check out wordpress.com/webinars, feel free to sign up for any other sessions that you're interested in. So I now want to turn things over to my colleague, Dennis. So here we go.
Thank you, Kathryn. Thanks. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. My name is Dennis, and I work from Italy, and I have been a happiness engineer for much less time than Kathryn, just almost 2 years. But I'm happy to show you today how you could start blogging on WordPress.com, and I will be able to answer, of course, any of the questions that come up after that. And with that, let me share my screen with you. Here we go. So I prepared just a simple site for us to take a look at and customize. So the topic of that site would be a travel. So I imagine a travel diary that a new user to WordPress.com could create, or even myself. So I added some demo content here, but I will walk you through the steps of actually publishing it, editing it, and sharing it as well. So if we go to the pages on our site, you'll notice that we only have the homepage now, and that homepage features the posts that we have. So we'll start with those, and I will open just one of the latest published posts, which currently has, the only thing that it has is just some text, lorem ipsum text, placeholder text. And so we can start with actually enhancing that content. Of course, the initial blog post could look similar to this, but there is a lot that we can do to enhance those posts with just a couple of clicks. So the simple text, of course, is just a paragraph. And if you hover over the empty spaces, or just click enter or return on your keyboard, you will notice this plus button popping up, which allow you to add more content to the page. So the simplest thing that you could do is add in an image block. So that block allows you to insert something from your own computer, or pick it from the media library if you already have something there. I already added some pictures, so I will start with one of those and just adding them to the post site. Here you go. So this is as simple as it gets. Whenever you add an image, you also have additional options on the top in the toolbar and also on the sidebar on how the image should look like. So for example, with this image, I could make it look wider, so it fills up the content much more. So for a travel blog, it could be interesting to have that feature. Or I could, of course, make it even full width if I decide to. So I can make it even full width, so it fills in the entire content of the page, and it's really nice that way. As we scroll down, of course, maybe we want to add a gallery, not just in one image, but we want to add a gallery. So with that, we'll type in gallery. You'll see that there are at least a couple of posts blocks that pop up there. My favorite one is this one. And I will show you in a second why it is so. So we'll pick it just more than one image from the media library. Let's pick just 7 of those, and I will insert them. And you'll see that the gallery automatically adapts the images to the sizes of the square or the rectangle that you have there. And if we select the entire block, we are able to also control how the images look like here. And my favorite feature is the light box, which allows you, let me just update for a second. It allows me to click the image and preview it in a nicely soft background of that same image. So it is a full immersive experience, and I think it's one of the best gallery blocks that you can use. But of course, there are more of those, and you can, of course, change places of images inside that post. And you can explore more posts, blocks that can be added. If you want to add a block into a specific section of the post, or if you want to transform something into different block type, you could select a specific block and you could turn it, for example, into a quote. So for example, this could become a quote, so it looks a little bit different and maybe nicer for your content. So this is how you could proceed and create a richer content, more rich content for your posts. Another thing that you want to do is maybe pasting and embedding an image from somewhere else. So let's take a look at Instagram. So we could take one specific image from Instagram and we could just paste it into here, and it will embed the entire post for us, including the like buttons, the comments, and the description. So it is a way for you to showcase your images from Instagram, but also images by others, just to enrich the content. And the same goes also for Facebook. So if we have a specific post that we want to paste in, we could copy the post URL and we could paste it into, let's say, just to spread it out a little bit, we could paste it like this. And generally it should work. Sometimes it could have a little bit more parameters that we want to embed, and generally it works in the preview, even if it doesn't work in the editor. So always make sure to preview the page, because sometimes it takes that extra step to preview. So as you can see, it definitely embeds the post fine, and you can like the post from here right away. Now, this is how you can enhance each individual post, but there is more of what you can do behind the scenes. So if you click document on the right sidebar, you would see the options for the entire post that we are currently editing. So for example, here you can define the slug for your post, which means is the part of the URL that comes after your site name and the date of the post. So it's something that you can customize, especially for the SEO purposes, but also just in general to make the content more recognizable in the URL. The other things that you could do is define a category for the post. So if you're blogging about specific categories, like let's say it's a travel about Europe or maybe USA, and you have more posts in those categories, you could create a new one. And let's say this post will be in the, well, of course, it will be Europe instead, not USA, but this is how you can add a category from here, and you can select the other ones that are not needed. The other important feature is the tags. So the tags is something that would describe the main keywords of your content. So in this case, it would be definitely Spain, it could be travel, it could be trip, it could be maybe summer, because we took it during the summer period. And you can add generally up to 10, 15, not more of those. And these are helpful to make your site also discoverable. And I will show you later on where you can leverage that as well. And a few other things. The featured image here, as you can see, this image is not appearing in the post itself, but it is the same image that is displayed when you look at the homepage, and I will show you that in a minute. So this is the image that is associated with the post whenever you share it on social media. So have you ever noticed when you share a link on Facebook, something like this? This is the featured image that will be defined in this section here. So you can replace it, you can set it to be a different one, or the same as it appears in the post. And the last but not least is the excerpt. So the excerpt is something that you can set up for the entire post to be the description, the short description of your post. Generally, you would leverage that both for the SEO purposes, but also to make sure that there is a crafted message for the summary of your post. So let me set this one here with just a different This is manual, and I will just set it up like this, and I will update it here. Now, whenever we exit the post and we go back to see our home page, you will notice that it updated my description for the post because I manually set the excerpt here. And this is actually the image that I have set as a featured image. So these are two important steps that you set up in the post and then appear elsewhere on your site and also outside of the site as well. Now, one thing that you could do on the blog, of course, is create an additional page for your site. So let's say you want to create a page about yourself. So maybe just an about page. And whenever you do that, you're prompted to select a specific layout for your page. So we could grab something from here or even start with a blank one. So just for the purpose of the example, we'll start with a blank one. I will call it about me. And one other feature that you could leverage are the block patterns. So the block patterns are those combinations of blocks that we recently introduced that allow you to add a structure to a post or page. It can be added anywhere you prefer. So if you want to have a specific section with maybe 2 images and some text below, you can do it like that. For the purpose of this page, I would want to pick this one, which looks really nice to me. And the only thing that I would need to do is maybe just replace my own image with my own image. So I would click replace and I will pick it up from media library or upload it here. And of course, I will replace the text here as well. With that done, the same parts apply here. So you can set up the permalink, the slug for your page. So something like the name of your site /about me. The same goes for the featured image and the excerpt. So those are universal values that you can definitely apply. But I will skip that for now. And one other thing that we could do is actually add a gallery page. So I will quickly create that. Maybe you want to, it's true that you will be blogging about different places that you have visited, but maybe you want to add a specific gallery where you want to highlight the best pictures that you have collected. And again, for these purposes, I will just add all of the pictures that I have, and I will click insert, and I will call it gallery. If I want to go back and select my other favorite gallery or just transform it into a different gallery, so like the collages that I could do or tiled galleries, I could do that. So with just one click, I can transform that. But again, there is a little bit of things that you can explore even yourself. So always make sure to click around and so when you select the block to see the toolbar that it has. Now, we published these 3 pages, additional 2 pages, but they are not appearing in the menu. So we can definitely correct that. We can go to My Home, we can click Edit Menus, and we can add those 2 new pages into the menu. So we do have a main menu. We would click Add Items, and we can add the gallery one and the About page. And if we need to change the disposition of those elements, we would just use the arrows like this and just save the changes. This is how it goes. And you have noticed that I already have the social menu in place. I can edit that out. I can remove any of the items that I don't need or don't have. So for example, I have added 3 of those, and I can also adjust it to my own Facebook page. So if you grab it from here, I would do it like this. So I will just paste the URL of my own Facebook page, and I would just click save, and the link will start working right away. The last thing that we can do, which we haven't yet, we would go to the home page and maybe customize how the entire page looks like or some aspects of that page. I crafted it a little bit manually for you, but as you have noticed, I can click the blocks and I can replace them with the other images. And for example, I can link this button that I created with see my pics, and I could click link. I could click edit, and since I published the gallery page, I can type in gallery and it will recognize automatically that I have that page, and that will be done. Of course, I can set up other things. I can change the color of the background of my buttons and other things. So always look on the right sidebar what you can do with the block, and also at the top toolbar appearing exactly above the post. And as I scroll down, you'll notice that I have a block called blog posts that already shows my latest posts here. So what I can do, I can of course change, for example, how it looks like. So I want to display them just as a long list of posts, or just to have them all in one place in 3 columns. And on the right side bar, I can change how many items I want to show. Currently, I'm showing only 3 of those. And I can change how many columns I want to show. So for example, I can spread it out a little bit to give a little bit more space, and I will have 2 columns instead of 3. So always make sure to look on the right and see. And one nice other thing that you could do, you could set it to be a completely different vibe with something like this. So you could set the featured image will become the background, and the text, the summary, will be shown on top of that. And some other things that you can customize, of course, are these aspect ratio for the images. And one missing part, of course, is since I'm blogging, I want to allow users to subscribe to my site. So what I can do, I can add a subscription form. As I start typing sub, I would see subscription form here. And as I click it, it adds the form where users can leave their email and subscribe with just 1 click, and they will receive a notification about every new post that you're publishing. And this is an internal service. You don't have to do anything special for that. Users just subscribe. If you want something extra, like in maybe a newsletter service, you can do that as well. If you type in sub, you will see that there is another block called MailChimp that you can connect. It will add a similar form to this one, but you will also be able to send newsletters from MailChimp once you connected that. So you have a couple of options there, of course, to enhance the readership of your site. For now, we'll click on updates changes here, and I will show you why the tags are important for your content. So whenever you publish a post from here, when you go to the reader section, users are able, and you yourself are able, to find specific posts about specific topics. So if I type in travel as a general topic, you will see that there are a long list of posts featured here, and those are using tags. So if someone is using a travel tag, there is a likelihood that someone will find them using that. So this is an important step for you to use all those enhancements that you have and set up the tags appropriately. And from here, of course, you can also start following the blogs. You can like them, and you can comment on those. And when you do that, of course, you'll also get in a backlink to your site. So if you notice, as I'm hovering over the usernames in these comments, in the lower left corner, you will see the link back to their own website. So this is exactly the same thing that you will get. So engaging with the content of other users, even if they are unknown to you, is definitely something that brings back to your site as a backlink, or generally being interested in content of others, discovering your niche, maybe collaborating with someone. This is a great opportunity for you to just discover the reader section, and you can actually add the tags that you want to follow. So if you add the travel one, you would be able to follow all the sites of that using that tag to publish. So you can start following them and do the rest. So this is sort of like for you a free way to engage with the unknown users and make your site discoverable. And one last thing that I wanted to show you before I take the Q&A from you is the marketing section here. So the important step for the blog to be discovered and read is, of course, maybe spreading it on the social media that you already have. So you can go into the marketing connection tab, and you can connect one of these 4 social platforms. And whenever you do that, you're then able to share the post automatically. As whenever you publish a post, you will be asked if you want to share it automatically on Facebook or any other social media that you connected. And you will notice that your post will also have the sharing buttons below, which you can edit in this section here. So there are more buttons available here. Currently, the site is private. It is in private mode as a coming soon one. But if I make it public just for a second for the purpose of it, let me do that if it loads. I can make it public just for to show you how you can add these sharing buttons, I would go back to sharing, and you will see that there are a lot of sharing buttons that can be even customized, so I can make them look really nice and recognizable. And I can also add more of those if I haven't added all of them. This is as simple as it gets with sharing your content. And you can also add your Twitter username here to allow users to tag you whenever they share a post with you. And those would be the basics from how you can start blogging, but I'm happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. So Kathryn,
All
I'm
right.
all ears.
Thank you. So we have 10 minutes left for questions, and there are a number of related questions that I thought I'd start us out with. And so one of them is it best to start with a home page? I guess they mean a static home page or a post page. And then related to that, is a WordPress web page and blogging the same? How can we merge them or link them?
Sure.
And then I'll just throw in another one that's
Sure.
all related. If your homepage currently is your blog page, how do you move your blog page to a separate page? So those are, and also then how do you add a link to your menu to get to the post? So those are all related.
Sure, absolutely. So you can definitely have both of the things. So you can start with the homepage because it allows you to present your crafted message, as I did here. So I added a couple of custom blocks to present the content of my site, like what the site is about. And then below, I'm still featuring the posts themselves. Of course, I can reverse that, and I can just set up the blog post to be on my homepage. But this is sort of like the best of the two worlds. So you have both of those in one page, and you can still have a separate blog page. So if you have a blog page already, or you want to create one just to show the blog posts, you can definitely do that. We can do that in the customizer section. So whenever we go there, and we go to homepage settings, you'll see that there is a setting to change to show the latest post on the front page, which is not what I did. But I can define a page to be my blog page. So when I do that, I can just give it a name. I click add, and I don't have to do anything extra because that page will automatically now be created and will be populated with all the posts that I have published so far. So this is our new blog page, which we can now add to the menu. If we go back to the menu, main menu, we click add items, you will see that the blog page has been created. And whenever I go there, I can still see exactly the same full list of posts in full. Again, they are not shortened, so they're all in full there. So one after the other. So you're getting both of the two worlds. You still have the crafted homepage and a blog section separate on your site.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
So someone asked about using Grammarly to check your spelling and grammar. Does that work with WordPress? How would you do that?
Yeah, definitely. You can, that is an extension. So I'm using Brave here, so I don't have it, but it's definitely an extension that you can install, and you just need to activate it on WordPress. You will be able to do that. You would need to check, since it's a third-party service. I'm not sure if they have a specific plan that needs to be activated to allow doing that, but it's definitely something that you can check with the extension itself.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
So here's a question about how do you develop a following for your blog? And once you do have a following, how do you attract advertisers?
That is a great question. So my personal advice from my work previous years in general, and the recommendation that I have given to our users is definitely blog about what you know. So don't try to please the search engines. Just try to write for your specific audience. So if you're a traveler and you're blogging about travels, your diary, just make sure that sort of like you're blogging for your best friend who would understand your travel buddy, who would understand that, and that will develop your niche. So you don't have to please everyone. You just need to find your niche and try to blog on the specific topic for them. Of course, that takes a little bit of technique in developing that. We do have some great advice for the SEO in general that you can follow. You can click question mark, you can type in SEO, and you can start seeing what is recommended there. And generally, some of the tips that I already shared, like using the reader section, which is a trove of networking opportunity for you. So engaging with the users, maybe commenting and generally being interested in what they blog about, and they will be also generally interested to see what you have to say about your site, about your topic. So definitely do that. Leverage the social media, of course. If you already have a strong presence there, that will be an advantage. Otherwise, you can still create that and leverage that to share your post automatically and see if someone comes in from there. So if you don't have a Tumblr site, you can still create it. You can automatically share the content there, and you will see if someone comes from that direction. So there are various, of course, things that you could do. There's no one recipe for that. So just try to do your best and not overdo the various techniques. Just be genuine, blog about what is interesting, and they will come.
Thank you. Can you
Sure.
talk a little bit, what does SEO mean? What does it stand for? And how do you get your blog to appear in Google?
Sure. So SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It is the collection of techniques that you could apply to your site to make sure that the site is discovered by the search engines in general, by Google mostly, but also by other search engines. And that by using some recommendations, you have more likelihood to get featured more there than less. So some of the things that I already mentioned are still in place. So if I type in SEO here and I open up our support page about the search engine optimization, you will see that you will have some articles recommended on simple steps that you can start with, or some more complex things that you can do on higher plans as well. So for example, blogging regularly is something that you would want to do because that is a strong signal for the search engines, because they know that your site is constantly updated, and people would find it helpful to see and updated content, of course. Then using those things like crafting the excerpts for your site, adding the interesting content, adding it visual, interesting content, also separating it, adding infographics, so adding visual content in general, embedding maybe YouTube videos. You could submit, of course, your site to Google to be indexed. So you could go to the traffic tab that we have, and you can explore some things here. So you can keep users engaged by showing the related posts from your own blog already. So if they read one post, they can still see some other recommended from your collection of posts and still be engaged on your content. So if they stay longer on your site, it means that they find your content helpful. And that is also a strong signal for the search engines. But one thing that you could do, you could verify your site with one of these search engines here. We do have full instructions in place. Basically, you're submitting the name of your site, so the custom domain if you have one, to Google or Bing or other services. You will get a code, you will paste it here, you will save settings, and that will ensure that Google will discover your site sooner than later. And you will have also additional insights from Google on how your content is performing. And so you can base your decisions on that as well.
Thank you. So we have only 2 minutes left, and I'm going to ask two related questions before we wrap up. How regularly should a new blogger post? And is there an ideal length for a blog post?
Great question. So there is no, of course, you don't have to be stressed out on blogging every week. If your content is not suitable for those timelines, it's okay as long as you publish regularly. It could be even once a month, even once every couple of weeks. It's definitely fine. So you can definitely do that. And as for the length, so the general length should be not shorter than 300 words. Generally, that is sort of like there's no one ideal length, but that is sort of like if the content is too short, it means it cannot be deep enough and interesting enough for users to engage with it. So as it gets longer, it gets more chance to get featured, to be found, and to be engaging for the users. So users stick on the page and read it all until the end. So those are all strong signals. So going from maybe 300, 500 words and up should be sort of like something that you could aim for in general.
All right, thank you, Dennis. So we're going to wrap up. I
Pleasure.
want to thank everybody for taking part here, and thank you, Dennis, for the presentation and for
My
handling the
pleasure.
questions.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to visit wordpress.com/webinars to see all our upcoming webinars. We have them every day, and we're also having some special one-offs on different topics, so look out for those. If you had questions that we didn't get to answer, please contact us. Go to wordpress.com/contact, and we'd be very, very happy to answer your question there. So thank you again for coming. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Bye-bye.